Karen tantrums. What was the worst adult tantrum that you've witnessed? 1. The worst was when a longtime parishioner entered church on Sunday and saw a young family sitting in her pew. She insisted that they relocate at once and that she had sat in that very pew for decades and had no intention of giving it up to newcomers. When the family wouldn't move, she called the ushers and pastor over and made a loud scene for all to hear, then threatened to leave the church and take her generous pledge with her. People practically applauded when she stormed out the door. And quat. Back to Bach. 2. I used to work at McDonald's. Some of the tantrums I've seen from grown-ass people at 3 a.m. is amazing. It's hard not to laugh at them and make it worse. My favorite was the guy who freaked out because he couldn't use the toilet, so he threw his food on the floor and stormed out. Then he tried to come back in and demanded a refund for the food he threw. And quat. Back to Bach. 3. A guy I dated went on a tirade because I called him a musician. He literally made music as his career. He started ranting about how he was a prodigy, sure, buddy, and insulted a bunch of my friends. Then he broke up with me, laughed in my face, and fell asleep in my bed. He woke up the next day and acted like everything was just dandy. Honestly, the worst person I have ever dated. And quat. 4. I used to work at Subway. There was a woman who came in at 9 a.m. and screamed at us because we no longer serve pepperoni. It was apparently so awful that it not only ruined her day, but her entire life. She vowed never to return and stormed out. My boss and I were both standing there flabbergasted. We never stopped selling pepperoni. In fact, I had just finished restocking its container. Neither of us had any clue what she was on about. And quat. Smoke alarm snick. 5. A woman standing up mid-flight and angrily demanding that they land and let her off the plane immediately because she believed an air hostess had been rude. In her words, she refused to waste her money on an airline that employed rude people, and would not spend one moment longer on the plane. She began yelling very aggressively while the staff calmly tried to explain why they cannot land. Eventually, she was restrained. And quat. 6. My sister, who works on Wall Street, went ballistic at a restaurant because my mom asked her to start paying her own cell phone bill. And quat. Fun Pizza 1797. 7. My neighbor threw a screaming, cursing hissy fit because I wouldn't rake his yard for him. And quat. 8. I had a few happen when I worked the deli counter at a Safeway. The deli closes before the store does because it takes considerable time to clean and sanitize everything from the fryers to the slicers. The tantrum that sticks out more than any is when a guy came in about 5 minutes before I'm due to punch out. He tells us he needs a lot of fried chicken, something like 10 orders of the 8-piece dark meat. My coworker and I are mopping the floors. The heat case is often cleaned, the salads are covered, and the fryers are drained. We couldn't have looked more closed if we stuck a neon sign over our heads saying so. We tell him that we can't fulfill his order. He goes ballistic. I've never seen anything so disproportional. I'm guessing he had a really bad day and we were the poor schmucks that got the brunt of his pent-up frustration. He rants that we're lazy and incompetent and to just turn on the King fryers. Just turn them on and make my King chicken. And quat. My coworker tries to use his best deep, calming voice to explain that even if we were to fill the fryers, it takes a long time to even heat them up to the right temperature. The guy stomps off and we think that's the end. The manager comes over and checks on us. We say we're fine and she goes back to the front. We're just about done when the angry guy comes back. Without saying a word, he yanks open the cool case and starts throwing all the salads at us. My colleague got a face full of coleslaw and I ended up with a foot covered in seafood salad. Yes, we pressed charges. No, the smell of seafood never fully left my work shoes. And quat. Cliff Bar smoothie. 9. I was working a shift at a clothing store when a customer came in for a refund. I had to refuse them the refund because it was obvious that the product wasn't purchased from our store and it had some random logo on it. After I said no, they started stamping their feet and making a scene. Eventually, they said, "If you don't give me a refund, I'm gonna poop on the floor." Out of curiosity, I called their bluff and said, "Okay then, do it." They dropped their trousers and pooped right there in the middle of checkouts. They got a lifetime ban for that and I had to clear up poop. But at least I got a funny story out of it. And quat. 10. This girl I knew in college was the stereotypical spoiled rich girl. It was early into freshman year at the dorms and I was part of her friend group, but we really didn't know her that long. It was her birthday and she wanted all of her friends to go out to dinner at a nice restaurant to celebrate with her, but none of us had cars because we all lived on campus. The group was too big to get Ubers for everyone, so someone suggested we just take the bus to the restaurant. She was freaking out because she had never taken the city bus anywhere. We got on it anyway and arrived at dinner. We're all sitting at the table and enjoying ourselves. She suddenly breaks down at the table and starts full-on sobbing because she's so disgusted and ashamed that she had to take the bus to her own birthday party and said it's something only poor people do. And quat. Hobbity-bobbit. 11. I used to work at a Hallmark store. The people who would come in 30 minutes before closing on major holidays, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, crying this is all you have left? Was ridiculous and quat. And finally, 12. One time I saw a guy almost punch the waiter at a sushi restaurant, all because the fish was raw. And quat. What was the adult tantrum you witnessed? Comment below, and remember to subscribe.